You're watching InfoSec Bytes, a crash course in information security for journalists. We're based at the Centre for Investigative Journalism in London and supported by the Logan Foundation. This video is part 2 of a comprehensive overview of all of the specialist software on the Tails operating system. This video is provided for information only. It cannot replace the advice of a trained security professional. If lives or safety depend on your security, please seek the advice of an expert. The Centre for Investigative Journalism is a pioneer in providing expert information security training services to journalists and journalistic institutions. To consult with an expert through the CIJ, or to arrange a CIJ training session, contact the address on screen. The tutorial you are about to watch is part of a series on the Tails operating system. If you haven't yet, make sure you watch our other videos on Tails. Click or tap on the pop-up message to access them. In part 1, we started looking at the specialist software on Tails. The next application we're going to look at is KeePass, Tails Password Manager. Anyone who uses the internet and has a lot of internet accounts will understand the difficulty of remembering all of your passwords. It's possible at this stage that you will have hundreds of different web accounts, and it becomes harder and harder to remember the login details of all of them. Sometimes, when they have this many accounts, people will try to simplify things by using a single password across multiple accounts. But this is a terrible idea, because it means that if someone manages to get hold of your password for one account, they can access all of your other accounts too. And if they get access to your email account, they will know all of the sites you have accounts with, be able to change the passwords on all of your other accounts, and/or impersonate you. On top of this, people often choose really insecure passwords for their accounts. A recent study of hacked web accounts showed that a very high number of people had chosen the number 12345, or the word password, as their password. Not only are these passwords trivial to crack, but less obvious ones can be cracked quite quickly too by dedicated hackers. It is possible to do something called brute forcing, using a powerful computer to guess thousands or even millions of combinations of letters and numbers a second, cutting down the time it takes to guess a password to hours. The only way to avoid this is to create really strong passwords, long ones with lots of random characters and numbers, and to use a different one for each account. But it is harder to remember longer passwords, and especially if you have to remember hundreds at once. To address this, Tails includes KeePass in its software. KeePass is an encrypted password database. When you start KeePass, you create a new password database and save it to your persistent folder. You place a master password on the KeePass database, which you will need to open it each time. But once you've done this, you can create entries for each of your web accounts. KeePass will also help you generate strong passwords, allowing you to choose the length and the pool of characters it draws on, and telling you how strong it is in bits. Once you've saved the password, you can access it whenever you need to log in, saving you from having to remember hundreds of passwords. Tails also has an application called Passwords and Keys. This application is more of a system app. For instance, it keeps track of encryption keys that you need to do PGP encryption. We look more closely at passwords and keys in our PGP video series. Another built-in specialist application on Tails is GTK Hash. GTK Hash takes files and uses something called a cryptographic hash function to generate the cryptographic hash of the file. Think of it like this. A cryptographic hash function is a mathematical equation that takes a file and gives you a sequence of letters and numbers of a specific length. The cryptographic hash of this file looks like this. The hash of the file should always be the same, as long as the file is the same. But if the file changes in any way, even if just one byte of it is different, it will give you a different hash. So checking the hash of a file is a good way of checking that it has not changed. Hashes are often used to make sure you've downloaded a file correctly, or to make sure that an attacker has not tampered with the file while you were downloading it. When you download a file, the website will often give you a hash of the file you are about to download. You can then use GTK Hash to check that the hash of the downloaded file is the same as the hash on the website. If it is the same, you know that it downloaded properly. There are various different cryptographic hash functions: MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, and GTK hash allows you to check all of them at the same time. Now let's look at a file sending application called OnionShare. Sending files over the internet is often a cagey business. It is easier to communicate securely and anonymously than it is to send files securely and anonymously. Most file sharing sites like Dropbox or SendSpace require you to upload the files to the site, which means that they then have your files and perhaps you do not want to trust them. To address this problem, Tails includes a special file sharing application called OnionShare. OnionShare uses something called Tor Hidden Services to share files directly over the Tor network without any intermediary. Because it is using Tor, it is a completely anonymous way of sharing files, and it is also encrypted from end to end. The only drawback is that it is a bit slow, and both the sender and the recipient have to be online at the same time in order to share a file. Let's say you are chatting with a contact, and the need arises to send a file. To share a file with OnionShare, just right-click on a file and click Share via OnionShare. The OnionShare window will pop up, with the file already entered into the file sharing list. As it happens, you can add as many files as you like to the OnionShare, and all of them can be downloaded together by the person you are sending them to. Add more files by clicking on Add Files, navigating to the folder you want, and adding as many files as you like. Once the files are added and you are ready to send, click Start Sharing. The red circle will go yellow, and OnionShare will now start up a Tor hidden service from which it can share the files as a download. This can take a few minutes, so be patient and wait. When OnionShare is ready, the circle will go green and you will be presented with a link. This is a Tor hidden service link. You can tell because the domain name ends in .onion. Copy the link by clicking on the Copy URL button and then send that to your contact. You can send it over a chat client or by another means. Just remember that it's a Tor hidden service link. Only people running the Tor browser can access this link. Your contact can then click on the link. Once the link opens in their browser, you will be notified in the OnionShare window that your contact has loaded the download page. Once they download the files, the OnionShare window will tell you the files have been 100% downloaded and automatically stop sharing them. You can now remove the files or close OnionShare. If your contact decides to send files to you via the same method, just click on the OnionShare link. Tor browser should open and you will see a Downloads page open. The link at the top offers you the download as a zip file. Click on this and you will be given a download box. Choose to save the files to your Tor browser folder and wait while it downloads. When it's downloaded, you can close the Tor browser. The files should be in your Tor browser folder, ready to access. So that's how to send files, but what about sending money? Tails also has a built-in Bitcoin client called Electrum. You may have heard of Bitcoin, which is a cryptographic currency which allows transmission of funds over the internet. We won't examine how to use Electrum in this tutorial, but if you are interested in using Bitcoin, you can do so on Tails. Tails also has a full suite of free software tools that allow you to do anything that you would on a normal commercial operating system, such as Windows or Mac OS. For example, if you've ever used Notepad on Windows or TextEdit on Mac, Tails has a similar simple Notepad program called TextEditor. TextEditor can be used to type notes or to write code, but it also has a more interesting function. It can be used as a tool while using PGP to encrypt your messages. We cover this use of the text editor in our InfoSec Bytes PGP tutorials. Naturally, one of the applications you will most want to use to get work done is the Office suite. Most people are used to using the Microsoft Office suite. Because this is proprietary, Tails does not include Microsoft Office, but it does include an almost identical Office suite called LibreOffice, which is written entirely by volunteers and which comes at no cost whatsoever. If you know Microsoft Office, LibreOffice will be instantly familiar to you. Only the more advanced features on LibreOffice differ significantly from Microsoft Office. LibreOffice includes an equivalent of Microsoft PowerPoint for making presentations, which is called LibreOffice Impress on Tails. For working with spreadsheets, as you would with Microsoft Excel, you can use LibreOffice Calc. And Tails' fully featured word processor, its replacement for Microsoft Word, is called LibreOffice Writer. Most people these days use their email through their web browser, such as Gmail, but you may also have some experience using Microsoft Outlook or Mail on Mac OS. On Tails, there is a full email client made by Mozilla, the same people who make Firefox, called Thunderbird. You can set Thunderbird up to send and receive email, and then you don't have to use the web browser. Furthermore, because it's on Tails, all of your email is going over Tor. Thunderbird on Tails also includes a plugin called Enigmail, which enables you to do PGP encryption for your emails. Tails also has plenty of graphics applications for working with images. For instance, it includes a screenshot app for snapping photos of what's on screen, and a photo editing program called the GNU Image Manipulation Program, which is the free software equivalent of Adobe Photoshop. Also included are Inkscape, a free software alternative to Adobe Illustrator, and Scribus, a free publishing application. If you work with video or audio, Tails also has some useful software applications. Pitavi allows you to import and edit video for creating your own videos. The free sound editing tool Audacity allows you to edit and apply effects to sound files. There's also Sound Recorder, a simple app for making voice notes or other kinds of recordings, and Traverso, a free multi-track recorder for mixing and syncing audio. There's plenty more software on Tails, but these are the main software applications that you might want to use. We recommend that you explore Tails yourself to get the full run of all the things that you can do with it. That's it for how to use Tails. In the next video, we will look at the Pigeon Chat app, which comes with the encryption plugin OTR built in, and how to use these to chat with contacts on the Jabber Instant Messaging service. We also have a range of other videos explaining all aspects of Tails, what it is, how to get it, how to install it, and how to use all of its features. To watch these videos, click or tap on the pop-up message and choose the Tails video playlist. Thanks for watching InfoSec Bytes. If you found this video useful, please share it widely with your colleagues and co-workers. To support the Centre for Investigative Journalism with donation, please visit tcij.org/donate. And if you would like to watch our other videos, please go to infosecbytes.org or subscribe to our channel below.